A Comparative Analysis of War and Peace, 1956 and 1965 Film Adaptations. Hello, everyone. Today, we will explore the boundaries between literature and film, comparing the works of two masters. Specifically, we'll examine the 1956 film by King Vidor and the 1965 film by Sergei Bondarchuk, both based on Tolstoy's original work. Tolstoy's original novel is a masterpiece with vast narrative and profound insights. However, the most important factor when evaluating a film is not simply its faithfulness to the source material. Film is an independent art form that must primarily have the power to convey emotions and allow the audience to experience them visually. Today, we'll compare the scene where Andrei Bolkonsky bids farewell to his father Nikolai before departing for war. We'll analyze how these two films staged this scene differently and how effectively each direction conveyed emotional depth. First, let's examine the 1965 film by Bondarchuk, famous for its faithful narrative to the original work. Andrei and Lisa's relationship. Like in Tolstoy's original, this film emphasizes the emotional distance between Andrei and Lisa. Andrei marries her merely for social status and does not love her. He is depicted as distancing himself from his wife, focusing solely on his sense of duty. The scenes where Lisa is brightly illuminated while talking to Pierre, contrasted with Andrei in a dark, isolated background, symbolically reveal this emotional disconnection. Now, let's analyze the scene of Andrei's farewell to his father before going to war.
Едешь?
Пришел проститься.
Целуй сюда. Спасибо, спасибо.
За что вы меня благодарите?
За то, что не просрочиваешь, за бабью юбку не держишься. Служба прежде всего. Спасибо, спасибо. Ежели нужно сказать, что говори. Эти два дела могу делать вместе.
А жене мне и так совестно, что я вам ее на руки оставляю.
Что врешь? Говори, что нужно.
Когда жене будет время родить, пошлите в Москву за акушером, чтобы он тут был. Я знаю, что никто помочь не может, коль натура не поможет. Я согласен, что из миллиона случаев один бывает несчастный, но это ее и моя фантазия. Ей наговорили, она во сне видела, и она боится.
Сделаю. Плохо дело, а?
Что плохо, батюшка?
Жена.
Я не понимаю.
Да нечего делать, дружок. Они все такие. Не разженятся. Ты не бойся. Никому не скажу. А ты сам знаешь. Что делать? Красиво. Я все сделаю, ты будь покоен.
Письмо Михаилу Илларионовичу отдай. Я пишу, чтобы он тебя в хорошие места употреблял и долго адъютантом не держал. Скверная должность. Скажи ты ему, что я его помню и люблю. Да напиши, как он тебя примет. Коли хорош будет, служи. Николая Андреевича Болконского сын из милости служить ни у кого не будет. Ну, а теперь поди сюда. Должно быть, мне прежде тебя умереть. Знай, тут мои записки. Их государю передать после моей смерти. Теперь здесь. Вот ломбардные билеты и письмо. Это премии тому, кто напишет историю суворовских войн. Переслать в академию. Здесь мои ремарки. После меня читай для себя, найдешь пользу.
Все исполню, батюшка.
А теперь прощай. Князь Андрей, коли тебя убьют, мне, старику, больно будет. А коли узнаешь, что ты повел себя не как сын Николая Болконского, мне будет стыдно.
Этого вы могли бы не говорить мне, батюшка. Еще я хотел просить вас. Если меня убьют, и если у меня будет сын, не отпускайте его от себя, чтобы он вырос у вас. Пожалуйста.
Жене не отдавать. Простились. Ступай. Ступай!
The visual staging repeatedly emphasizes a massive emotional wall between Andrei and his father, similar to his relationship with Lisa. The continuous distancing between Andrei and his father visually reinforces their emotional separation. This portrayal fails to capture the nuanced emotional interactions that could provide deeper resonance. When everything is too explicitly constructed or exaggerated, the subtleties of emotion between characters become lost. The obsession with distance overwhelms the need to build empathy between the audience and the characters. This overly expressed distance reduces character interactions to mere gestures and a few words, failing to reveal the human emotional exchange, the shared pain, tension, or subtle unresolved emotional differences. In the images, the deep vertical composition suddenly shifts to emphasize the father's sad expression while looking at his son. This feels awkward because the previous images were merely explaining the character's situation rather than expressing their emotions. Now let's examine the 1956 film by King Vidor. While it deviates somewhat from the original, it focuses intensely on visually conveying character emotions.
Thank you, my boy. Thank you.
Why do you thank me, Father?
For doing your duty. For not allowing yourself to be tied to a woman's apron strings. The army before everything. Thank you. Thank you.
About my wife, Father.
Your wife? Well, go on, speak.
When her confinement is due, send to Moscow for a doctor.
A doctor?
I know that if nature won't do its work, no one can. But they've been telling her things, and she's had a dream. She's frightened.
All right, all right. Give this to Michael Kutuzov. We were at school together. He wasn't exactly a bright lad, but never mind. I've written to him to tell him to keep you away from headquarters. They're bad places. Tell him I remember him and I admire him. Now, goodbye. Remember this, Prince Andrei. If they kill you, it will hurt me, your old father. But if I hear that you've not behaved like the son of Nicholas Bolkonsky, it will be worse. I shall be shamed.
You needn't have said that to me, Father. I also wanted to ask you, If I am killed and I have a son, don't let him be taken away from you. Let him grow up here, with you, please.
And what are you waiting for? We've said goodbye. Go, go.
Andre?
In this scene, the focus is on fully displaying the suppressed emotions between Andre and his father. Unlike the 1965 film, the physical distance between father and son is not excessively emphasized. It's clear their relationship is not intimate and somewhat tense, without resorting to extreme visual metaphors. When Andre kisses his father's hand, a physical contact, the father momentarily rejects it and walks towards the background. The viewer perceives not just the father's coldness, but his internal conflict, maintaining his authoritative role while suppressing his compassion. This scene avoids exaggeration, using restrained movement and physical gestures to convey the complexity of the father-son relationship. The viewer is guided to observe the father's movements and gestures, deepening emotional immersion. The 1956 film implements a more delicate and multi-layered emotional depth through brevity and appropriate gestures. This demonstrates that in emotional storytelling, restraint and subtlety are far more effective than exaggerated visual metaphors and extreme compositions. In this scene, the father tells Andre, "If you die in war, this father will grieve, but if you disgrace our family, this father will be ashamed," essentially saying that death is preferable to bringing shame to the family. Andre, hearing this, is unable to contain his boiling emotions and storms out. The visual composition is particularly powerful. Andre's large right shoulder initially fills the screen, but as he turns to leave after his father's cold words, his shoulder dramatically shrinks. This sudden size change not only depicts his swift exit, but also captures his intense emotional state. Film theorist Bela Balazs argued that visual human gestures are meant to express irrational emotions that cannot be fully explained in words. This image of the son powerfully demonstrates Balazs' claim. Andre's emotion cannot be simply reduced to anger. It's a complex mix of disappointment, sadness, hurt, and long-accumulated resentment. His actions and movements powerfully express this multi-layered emotion without linguistic explanation. The 1956 King Vidor and 1965 Sergei Bondarchuk films approached the same scene in completely different ways. The 1965 film, while faithful to Tolstoy's original, focuses more on explaining the relationship than creating emotional immersion. The 1956 film simplifies the original narrative, but maximizes emotional visualization, allowing the audience to intuitively feel the character's inner world. Specifically, the change in Andre's right shoulder and the gradual revelation of the background door are effective cinematic devices for conveying emotional depth. While Bondarchuk's 1965 film is praised for its faithfulness, film should not merely reproduce literary content. As an independent art form, film must enable audiences to visually feel and experience a character's inner world. In this respect, Vidor's 1956 film is an excellent example of maximizing emotional expression. Film is not a subordinate medium to literature, but an independent art form that can provide new emotional experiences by breaking free from the original's framework. In our next broadcast, we'll analyze another scene from War and Peace, delving deeper into how film can effectively convey emotions. If you enjoyed today's broadcast, please subscribe and like. Thank you.